So that's that article. I don't want to make the whole thing about that article again, but it just was in Indonesian news, and it jogged my. So my TikTok is still 10% of my followers are from Indonesia for some reason. Even the new followers that are coming in are coming.
Isn't it wild that you, as an image, as an entity, could be used as like anti-American propaganda?
I know, it's hilarious. And all I want to say, wanted to start this way because I wanted to say it to all of my Indonesian supporters. Yeah, I love you. And I wouldn't date a thing like you either. Because of the amount of weird, like, wow. When I looked at my TikTok following insights again the other day, I was like, holy shit, Indonesia is still at the top. Why?
Really?
It's like right below America. Like, it's like...
I wonder what the fascination is.
11 and 12%. So, like, America is 12, and then Indonesia is 11, and then there's a whole bunch of other places that are like 3 to 2%.
That's wild.
I have no idea what that is.
So a lot of these cultures have been getting Western media, especially like they'll get Western movies dubbed into their language.
Yeah.
So they're hearing the actual English language movie and seeing the Americanized culture in a lot of their media. So in Vietnam, we would actually have people right up beside us on their bikes, because we do these really shitty bikes in Vietnam. So we could only go like 70 kilometers an hour max. Mm-hmm. So the people who could afford tattoos in that country also had faster bikes than us. So they would like catch up to us and we couldn't get away. So they were like riding next to us and showing us their tattoos while they're riding their motorcycles next to us.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and like that happened routinely.
Wild.
Uh-huh.
I find
but for what reason?
Because they could see our tattoos.
Yeah, it's like we're bros kind of thing.
Right.
Or like I understand.
They're basically 100%. Driving along going, me too, me too,
now,
me too.
That being said,
cool.
There's nothing more annoying to me than when like, okay, so I'm at the bank the other day, and
I hate the bank too.
There's a guy who has like some visible tattoos going on, and he's like, I don't know if he recognized me or what it was, but he's like, he's kind of his posturing has changed now, and it's like, oh well, I know, like I have tattoos, like, it's okay. We all have tattoos these days. This doesn't have to be a pissing contest. I'm not even looking to get into it, but like, why is it more of a deal for this guy than it is for me?
Because he has less. And you have more. It's like if you work out and then you see a really big buff dude, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I work out too, bro. Man. We're the same thing.
I also think in this town, there's a ton of people who can't afford more tattoos and good tattoos.
Yes.
So they're in the shop going, I'm doing my best, too, to get super tattooed, but you're way the fuck ahead of me.
That comes at a time in your life, I feel like. Because, like, I'm not making tons of money. I'm making all right money, especially for what I do.
But they haven't prioritized it, and they haven't spent their money well.
No.
So I mean, it's something that we can maybe just touch on, but I think it would be better to touch on it later when we actually look at it. But there's a survey going around of tattooers that they're like accumulating North American data right now to see average tattoo hourly rate.
Oh, yeah.
And how it relates across North America. And apparently right now, Canada is showing super low.
Really?
Yeah. Comparatively to the U.S., like super low.
Huh.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like it could be something lost in conversion.
Well, that's what they're saying. They're saying that it makes no sense, like, because what it would equate to in U.S. dollars and our economy and things like that, because it's actually cheaper in the States to live, right?
Yeah.
On the whole shot, if you're not in New York or whatever.
Oh, yeah, if you're comparing dollar to dollar, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you go to the States, and the price we pay for a house here, you get a mansion over there, man.
Yeah.
I was getting like...
Yeah, it's insane.
Like, I'm seeing this hands-on because that article, again, that I did where I said it's, but with body mods in total, probably 150 to 200 grand, somewhere in that area. I can't even tell you because it's been a lifelong pursuit, right? It's like getting someone to tell you how much they've spent on something, anything they love.
Coffee.
Cigarettes or alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. Cigarettes or alcohol, right? So my best stab in the dark, and I think I'm pretty close. I did do some loose math, but I said probably around 140 grand on tattoos. And like it's been all over the place, and every different country has a different he spent this amount.
Yep.
And they just keep like the numbers are almost just being made up at this point.
Yeah.
I seen one 70 euro, right? 102,000 someone said the other day. Like 120 grand I seen, and I'm like, I don't know if it is just making up numbers or if this is just like depending on where they are, they're
More than
converting
likely, yeah.
Canadian dollars to what that would be.
Yeah.
Wherever
Well,
the fuck.
70,000 euros would be like 120 grand.
It's fucking crazy that our currency is that like it's that low.
It's
Well, that-
pretty trash right
well,
now.
well, don't-
Holy crap,
don't-
man!
don't
Or the
compare-
6% inflation rate.
But
Yeah.
but don't compare to like this current a new currency can come into play that's just already worth 100 Canadian dollars.
Bitcoin.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, currencies aren't pegged 1-to-1 with each other. And the fact that Canadian American currencies actually hit 1-to-1 sometimes is completely 100% fluke. There's no reason in our economies or in our inflation rates or in our gross domestic product that they should ever be 1-to-1. It makes sense for them to be different. And the euro started at 1.6 Canadian dollars. So the fact that it's held around 1.6 is actually a decent indicator.
So, question: if you have 150 grand in your bank, just say you do, versus an American has 150 grand in your bank, do you feel differently about that number?
oh yeah,
No, you should.
Should
it buys you different amounts in the real world.
Yeah, it buys you different things.
It
It's
does.
just in
See,
different
you're
relations.
just scaling up numbers, right? Because like
Yeah.
if I had
It's a direct ratio.
5 grand versus 5 grand, 5 grand buys you a lot more in America than it does in Canada.
Yeah.
It's not
way
even
more.
buys you more in
Right.
America. Is if you have 150 grand of US, it is literally worth 210,000
Which
Canadian.
is
So
like
it is literally
hard
more.
pill to swallow in some ways for me.
Yeah, but like the other side of that is cost of goods are less, right? In relation, so it's like you're going to spend, like even just you're paying for gas. Gas is so much cheaper in the States.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah, man.
If all of a sudden it's like you have 100, let's take it out of that. Let's say $1,000. It's your gas budget or whatever. That's just getting you physically more gasoline. Even if it's $1,000 US that you have to spend in Canada and you have the exchange, you're still getting way more for your dollar in the States.
See, when I see,
Yeah.
if I seen someone else boast the same number, I would be like, oh, okay, yeah, I spent that. And it's like, no, you didn't.
Well, I might almost challenge that a bit. It depends on where the exchange rate is at and where the USD versus CAD is. Because in some circumstances, like when the currencies are very different, like, right now they're chilled out a little bit. But for a while there, we were at $1.40 Canadian to $1 American. Ugh. And at that point, if you go and fill your tank with gas in the States or in Canada, it's actually pretty similar. Like you're kind of getting
Well,
the same amount for your dollar.
I don't want to make out that it doesn't
Wait,
always.
what? How?
So if they're
Wouldn't that be way worse?
no, if they're $4 a gallon
Yeah.
and we're $1.40 a liter,
Yeah.
and $1.40 Canadian's worth $1 American, you're getting the same amount of fuel for the same value of currency.
No, I think you've made it way worse from the sounds of it. Wouldn't you have?
So $1.40 a liter
Yeah.
means you're paying $1 US per liter, and $4 a gallon means you're paying $1 US per liter. So we're paying $1.40 Canadian per liter, and they're paying $1 American per liter, and it's the same.
But
And they will usually come out a bit lower on that, even when our currencies are quite far off. But oftentimes it does work out even that way.
but I don't no because like you're thinking it backwards, right? Like a dollar would be 60 cents Canadian if you're at $1.40.
No, it would be like 75.
Sure,
You
but
got-
either
yeah.
way, it's going the
So
opposite
you're saying
way.
$1 US is 75 cents Canadian?
Well, that's what
One
somewhere in that
$1.40
area.
Canadian. So right now, let's say
$1
it's
for Canadian
$1.33.
is
Let's say-
$1 US. Okay, I get what you're
yeah,
saying.
$1.33 Canadian
Yeah,
buys
sorry.
you $1 US.
It's early for math, bro. What
Yeah.
the hell?
Sorry, I spend more time thinking about currency and exchange than you
tell.
do, I think.
Yeah, I don't at
I
all.
spend a little bit of time thinking about it, but not, I see it more like so if
that
I
was
get
tough.
if I get some payment like from PayPal, some company sends me something, whatever, you get like okay, I'll quote them $100 for this, say, and now they send me $100, but they're sending me $100 US, and then it's like oh, it's really like $130. So sometimes I win in this.
Yeah, sweet.
Right, like you're like oh, I got way more than I expected. That was happening with the YouTube too before I adjusted it.
What you really want is you want pounds.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice.
Get
100 pounds for anything, and
Yeah.
then it's double. It's pretty well double.
I would love
But,
that.
like, quick side note, the YouTube, everything about our YouTube is doing amazing right now. This channel is, like, outstandingly good right now. Like,
Really?
the traffic is way up, but the monetization is, like, half what it was last month.
Yeah.
I was freaking out about that until I looked into it. It has nothing to do with anything we're doing.
You were telling us about this.
It has
How
nothing.
commercials are just worth
Yeah,
less.
it's the monetization is always bad in January, I guess.
So stick with me for a second. Would it be worthwhile to turn down the monetization and ad space way lower for like January through March? Just to increase traffic because more commercial space, more ad time is a deterrent from people watching your channel. So in theory, could you turn down the commercialization aspect during those lower valuation months to get more traffic accustomed to your site and then crank them back up during those high value times?
I think
Potentially.
what I want to do is go back through old content and leave ads because people who are watching that stuff are probably binging it. And then the new stuff probably a little less because you're trying to grab people with that.
Yeah.
But if you're watching episode 3 of the Remy Show, you're not there because YouTube brought you there. You went looking for that.
Yeah, you were digging.
So you can go through the ads then. And that's not like, I'm not trying to be a dick. It's just like those people would more likely support you anyway.
So I have a question. Like, so I'm on YouTube Premium right now, so I don't get no ads, which is great. But my question is, do you think that YouTube will eventually come up with a higher rated version of YouTube?
What do you like?
Well, like
Like a free for all style, like Western Wild West.
Well, maybe not like totally free for all, but just like an 18 plus kind of version.
I think maybe
Ooh.
someone comes up with that. I don't know if it's YouTube or who it will be, but I think wherever there's a demand, someone will supply it.
Ready for it? Pornhub.
Okay, so there's a teacher out of Thailand, I believe it was, or South Korea or something like that. That he was a math teacher, and he started putting up math lessons on Pornhub,
Okay.
and he makes like 350 grand a year from it.
Cool.
Yeah,
What's the gimmick? Is everyone
there's no
naked,
gimmick.
or-
There's serious math talks.
Well, you know what?
and he said there was a serious
lack
lack of math lectures on Pornhub, so he decided to start putting them up there, and he makes crazy money.
Well, I mean, if there's an audience for
But
it,
like honestly, if all of a sudden it was just like Pornhub just expands to whatever,
well, I mean, why would they though?
why wouldn't they?
Because I think that they're filling their role really well, and they're doing quite
Yeah,
well
but like
with it.
infrastructurally, it doesn't change.
They would do better to create another domain, and then if you click on the other
Pornhub,
stream of
yeah.
content, then it just directs you to their other
Exactly,
page that
'cause
they also
I'm not
own. Like
going
they would be better off. So I've been reading some marketing stuff, some marketing overview stuff lately, and it's important for a business to define well the services and goods they offer.
Sure.
And when they get to too big of an offering, it's good to divide that up and segment it well.
It's the same problem I have with my work. Like, I don't hate doing what I do, but I don't love what we do there necessarily because it's too broad.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we shouldn't have an Asian salmon at a breakfast restaurant.
Yeah, you really shouldn't.
Like, it's preposterous.
Yep.
Just
I've
'cause
always
I
thought
work-
that.
Yeah,
I've looked
it's
through the
too
menu and
much.
I've been like, what is all this?
and then they'll run crazy specials too, where
Yeah.
it's like, why do we have this? And there's no way it's going to be like, okay, here's what it is. All of these products are fine. I don't want to eat a fine product. I want to eat a good product.
Oh, I'm with you there.
The breakfast is the good product.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Well,
everything
I
else is just
honestly
there.
didn't know other people ate other things at that.
Well,
Like,
they
I
do.
honestly had no idea.
They do,
When I
but-
looked at the rest of the menu, I'm like, do people eat this?
Yeah, they do, and they shouldn't. Like, I'm not saying
They shouldn't.
I'm not saying it's terrible. It's just
It's not what's the good thing to get.
It's absolutely average.
But
right?
if the cook makes it once a day or less, you're not getting the best product. That's not the cook's best dish.
Well, and there's also like like keeping up the freshness of
Yeah.
products and not having frozen shit all over the place.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
just-
can't
it's-
imagine the freshest salmon being there.
No, God,
in
no.
any
And you
circumstances.
shouldn't, and no one should expect that coming in.
Yeah.
Like, there's a problem where people do.
Oh, really?
Right. Well, people will think that it's like. I think people think we have like a butcher or something. Like we're
Ooh,
carving
the
our
chef
own
must have
steaks
caught this
and-
this morning.
Well, there's a whole disconnect.
Pulled it at Henderson.
Yeah.
Like where it's
Gross.
like you can't actually expect that any of that's happening, right?
I mean, you can. You're just a fool if you do.
Some people live on the fucking moon, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
The dark
before
side of the
before we
moon.
carry on, I have a curiosity. You guys might have the answer for. So Kevin, as a premium YouTube subscriber,
What's up?
he signs on and he watches an episode of the Remy Show.
Yeah.
It shows him 0 commercials.
Yep.
Yes.
Does the channel get any money
Yep.
for that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So they still cover the ad spend
Yeah.
out of his.
I don't
subscription.
know how that math works, but yeah, I do
I'm
get
sure
a
it's
portion
less.
of it.
It is less,
proportionally,
yeah.
But cool. I'm glad there's a thing for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
That's
get
all.
paid some of that. I don't get paid as much as ads, but that's okay because there aren't going to be that many Kevins out there anyway.
What's up?
There's too many, and it's not because YouTube Premium isn't worth paying for. It's that there's so many streaming. There's so many subscriptions. Like everything is subscriptions. You can get sweaters on subscriptions now.
No, I hate it.
Like 4 easy payments. It's a fucking sweater. Just give me the goddamn sweater and
Now,
fuck off.
What if there's a Krampus
Now, don't
sweater
get me wrong. Yeah.
subscription program?
There are some nice sweaters.
You can get
Yeah.
12 Krampus sweaters per year.
Yeah. What if you got one a month, huh?
Yeah, it's like we had
Now all of a
this
sudden it doesn't sound so crazy, does it?
Bark Box. Have you ever heard of Bark Box?
Yeah.
They were showing up at our house for a while, like once a month, and we got them redirected to the rightful owner. But I was just like, this is fucking shit.
Yeah.
And they're
It's all
paying
trash,
for-
too.
Subscription boxes are very common now, and it's crazy that people will pay. And this is my opinion. Some people love them. I've met some people that really adhere to the subscription box concept. But my whole thing is
I have enough bills.
you're just asking for garbage you didn't ask for.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I wonder what's coming
'cause
in
they
my
like
junk
surprises.
mail this week.
Yeah, people like
just
surprises.
like surprises.
And gifts.
People like it when it goes, ooh, what's
well, that's
this?
some form of. I mean, it's a bigger addiction than this, but like package addiction.
Unboxing.
Yeah, like it's a thing. Like my brother, my younger brother, he always needs to have something coming in the mail. Now, I don't know. Like I usually have something coming in the mail just because, but it's not like, oh, I'm going out and making sure. It's just there's usually some company sending me a product, or like I've got some piece of jewelry being made, or like I've got some. I'm still waiting on creatine from a company right now, which we can get into later, maybe.
Why don't you just get creatine?
Well, he wanted
Like,
it to be
it's like
a specific-
everywhere. Yeah, he
I
wants
know.
hydrolyzed creatine, but like they're everywhere.
I told this guy I would do it to the line for a month.
You know, the funny thing is,
After that,
the main difference between hydrolyzed creatine and non-hydrolyzed creatine is that it dissolves better in water.
see, I'm a big dummy on all of this, so I'm just, and this is why when I talked to Dave on Sunday, I could get lost in this.
Yep.
It was not a good time. Like
Why?
it was and it wasn't because it was a lot of pain, right?
Oh,
like it
yes,
was a
yes,
lot
yes,
of
yes.
there was a lot of distress, right? It was just it was a lot of distress because he was very animated, and then it went into all other avenues.
This is the interesting thing about brothers conveying information.
That's
because, like,
exactly right. That's
if
why
I was
didn't
talking to
want
Dave
go to
about
him.
it, Dave would like talk to
course.
me and it would be fine and it would be normal.
I know.
And then, but if he's talking to you, it's like he's talking to a version of himself. Like brothers
Well,
are
and
just like this different type of importance, or like
I'm not. It's not
parents
because
too.
of the Remy thing, or that I think I'm some alpha or anything like that. But the way he talks to me one on one, it's like he thinks he knows better about everything. And I've told him this too. I told him this the other day. And there's no way he can help it, right? Because I will always be his younger brother.
Yeah, of course.
Like it's not something he can possibly work out. Like
Oh, of
even if he
cour- oh,
changed
hang
the
on,
way
hang on now.
no, because even if he changed the way he talked to me, like it would still be instinctive for him to come at me from that sort of approach.
Okay, I understand why you would say that, but in terms
Psychedelics.
of hey, we're back. Yeah, I mean, honestly, though.
I did it for you this time.
Okay, so this is my.
I'm learning.
Yeah, as you should, and as he could too. No, like the way that we view one another. If that changes, if he changes his view of who you are to him, then his communication would be different. And if you change the way that you view him to you, your reception of his communication will be different as well.
I think I've done a better job of it.
Yeah, of course.
But that's
Because you're younger.
that could be. But it also is like I've changed a ton. Like part of the only thing that hasn't changed is my job, right? And that's the next thing to go. But
That's very impending.
so like when you make a lot of changes, I feel like it's easy to change the way you see other people too.
Yep.
Like if you're doing that lots, you're changing things. It's easy for you to change the way you see the world.
Yeah.
But like I feel like, and this isn't like crack at him. I just feel like he hasn't done that much,
No, he's in the process of doing that.
and it's very, very painful for him right now.
Yeah.
But I think he assumes that pain is live in others, because when we kept talking like basically the entire night, like 5 hours of this, it was like it went from everything from the lifting weights to like what I'm doing wrong on my social media
yes.
and what he would do if he was in my position and all of these different things and how he's going to win, and the reason he's going to get farther than me on this is because of this and all these
Further in what?
nothing in particular,
Just life?
just in general, because he's hungry. He's hungry and I'm not. And I told him, I was like, I think you're missing a big part of this equation. And he's like, what's that? And I was like, I'm not really unhappy. Like, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. Like, I can see you're not. And so you would do all of these things if you were me, and self-destructive and suicidal about most endeavors. Like, because basically what it boiled down to is sell more product, don't give a fuck, leverage everything,
Meanwhile,
expect more from everyone, take more from everyone. And I'm kind of going, I'm kind of just enjoying my life and building things. Like, I could make a little more money, sure, but
it's all related to the poisonous attitude of once I get this,
that's
I'll
what I
be
said
happy.
to him. Because
When that's not how life works. Sure, we're always striving for something, but as soon as you attain any of your goals, you're just gonna have another goal.
That's something I've been challenging him on, like when we talk. Is like I challenge him on exactly
I
that.
just have to get this out and go on. I said to him, when you get, because he thinks he won't be happy until he's his own boss. He's tired of being a slave. And I said to him, is there anything anyone could pay you to do that would make you happy? And he's like, no, not anymore. I'm done with that. And I'm like, so you just think that once you're your own boss, all those problems go away? Yeah. Yeah. Because I'll be free to make my music and be happy. And I'm just like, so you just win life then?
That's not really how the music industry works.
Well, no,
nor
but
is
like,
it how being your own boss works.
Assuming you have all the freedom you want, you have all the money you need to do what you want, like, who cares who's paying for it then? Like, I feel like I'm winning a bigger battle just with a well-being that's fairly good than trying to attain something that might not even make me happy if I ever could get it.
And I feel like on average, if you're talking life contentment, no, see, I'm still pro hustle. Like, you know,
I'm still hustling. I'm not
still
dying
pro-hustle,
here. I'm not
but
rotting.
I feel like long-term contentment, if you have a job where you can cruise in for 40 hours a week, you get paid whatever reasonable living that works for you plus extra, right? Suppose you're making more than you would need to live.
Yeah.
At 40 hours a week, I feel like you can easily be as happier than this self-employed person who's out there hustling and shaking and
I brought up
about
the company store, and that he was like, I'm actually reading a book on that right now. And I'm like, I'm sure you are. See,
What's
the
the
problem
company
with,
store?
like, you can read a book on things, but I'm using it as an example to understand what I'm talking about. Like, the company store is the idea of, like, working for a company that pays all of your bills and you get all of your shit from that place. Like, you get your food, you get your it's taking care of you like you're its child kind of thing, as long as you're serving it. And I was telling him that there's a lot of there's a lot of people that are just happier that way, and were happier that way, and when life was simpler. And I brought that up very specifically just to kind of rail against this idea that as soon as he's on his own, truly, he'll be happy. No, people need community. Like, that's what you're missing. You need community.
I think he has a conflation between a few things. So I don't disagree with him in some respects, but the understanding of freedom is only in how you view it. So, like, what he has as a problem is he doesn't like the current boss that he has in terms of this established bigger company. And because he doesn't feel valued within it. Totally understand that. I've been there. When you're part of a bigger, no, your
I like
bosses,
my bosses though.
Yeah, your boss. So this is the thing. If he liked his bosses, if he felt valued from them, his salary would feel different. You know what I mean? So what he's thinking is, if I remove the bad boss and I become my own boss, then I can value me perfectly. Problem is, now all of a sudden your boss is no longer you. Your boss is everyone that's paying you.
And yourself.
But you can be your own boss and have a boss.
So like, what he's misunderstanding is he thinks that there's freedom in that. All that it is a dilution of boss. Like, if all of a sudden he's making music for 100,000 people and all those 100,000 people are getting you exactly, and they all have a voice.
It's your tour manager that's boss. It's the venues that are your boss.
Yep.
It's the cancellations
it's
that
the
are your
timelines.
boss.
It's the everything.
It's the people who need to design for that T-shirt and get stock from here to here and.
Yeah, your duties aren't over.
So
you're not free.
The things that, like, I've challenged him on are to find something that the physical act of doing the job is gratifying, and because I understand what it's like to do his job, there's no gratification in it. There's literally none, because your staff doesn't give a fuck. That's the weirdest part of it.
I've worked with those people.
Yeah,
I work with
but
those.
No,
but
that's what managing is.
I find a lot of fulfillment in the process of what I do. Just like, it's a whole thing. Like, cooking is just a bit of a love of the art for me. It feels almost like a sport.
But, like, so here's the...
Especially when it's, like, fast from production.
Yeah.
Based.
So when you send out a plate of eggs...
Yeah.
What happens? Does someone come and pat you on the back?
No, it's not like that.
It's very thankless.
Yeah.
For you, it's the job, the execution, and you have an internal barometer as to whether or not you did good or not. It's a similar thing to this job. Like, when my job is done well, nobody gives a shit.
Right. Well,
the only thing that I get is complaints.
The only time you hear about it is if there's something
exactly.
wrong.
That's the only thing I get. I don't get a good job. Thanks.
No.
I don't get any of that.
Well, you know what? I don't need it. So
exactly, because I know what it looks like to run well.
You'll get young guys that'll be like, well, that fucker didn't stock up my section. I'm not going to stock it up for him. I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. You stock it up for you.
Yeah.
You have a
personal pride. It has nothing to do with everybody else. Yes.
And it's hurting you, not him.
Yep.
You're the one that should do this for you.
Yeah, totally.
Who cares what the next guy does? If you always do what you do, it doesn't matter who's coming in. You're going to be you'll be reliable to yourself.
Yep.
You'll be faithful to yourself, right? That's the way I conduct myself at all.
Yeah.
Just in life is I'm accountable to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the next guy's going to do. That guy's always going to fuck you.
Yeah.
Who cares about that guy? He's going to go away eventually. You're going to have to live with you.
But that's where I think, like, Dave may benefit from having to hunt. You know what I mean? To have to figure those things out for himself.
And some people find a lot of value from their hustle being where their paycheck comes from.
Yes.
So he may legitimately be happier that way.
Yep.
I doubt it'll be as easy.
Or
as he
he'll find
thinks,
value in the other
direction.
job.
You can still do that and maintain the other thing, though.
Yeah, of course.
I've been doing this for a while, and it doesn't look like it to him because I'm not. Oh, I used the term huckster, and he didn't like that.
Yeah.
It got him. It riled him up. He's like,
people have a problem with that word.
I was like, what the fuck? You want me hawking products nonstop, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. That's not genuine. Mm-hmm. And that's this whole thing. The whole Remy character was just. It wasn't even meant to do any of this. I was just posting tattoos and piercing stuff.
Yeah.
It became something else. That didn't mean I was supposed to go, how can I bilk these people for as much as they're worth to me?
No.
Like,
that's like, if you're wanting to do sales, go into sales.
But like, I'm supposed to do that. And
Why?
if I don't, I'm naive.
Well, okay. So what he's seeing is he's seeing missed capital, and when he's in a place of financial struggle and he sees missed capital, he goes, "Well, why wouldn't you do that?" And I understand
There
that.
isn't as much money to be made as he thinks, though.
No,
There's
okay.
more.
I'll give him a little bit of credit, because for me, what drives me nuts here is when I see, so like for me, I have a standard salary, whatever, and it's something that if I could work harder and get an increase, I would. So when I watch people that don't do that, they turn down money, it drives me nuts.
I can appreciate
You know what I mean?
that.
And it's hard for me to separate from why they're turning down the money.
This, however, is not necessarily so one-to-one, which is what I was explaining.
No, but that's
to
how
him.
he's seeing it, right?
It's not, he's seeing that
Yeah.
because he's never engaged with this.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, well, yeah, I've been in sales forever."
No, he's reading a lot, right? The problem is when you read a lot, you think you have this like real sense that you've done it. You know what I mean? It's just like, like I've read a book on psychology, therefore I'm a psychologist.
I
And
know
it's like,
you
no,
guys
I'm
both
not.
pretty well. Hey, I'll even lump Terry, and he's sitting up there.
Yeah,
I'm
Terry.
going to tell all three of you motherfuckers to buy an ephemeral T-shirt.
Okay.
None of you were going to buy it.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
And you guys know me better.
Would you
than
give me one?
Yeah, and
I'll
then
wear it.
And then someone you know might buy it.
I'll wear
right?
it.
'Cause
If you
you'll
pay me
tell them
£100,
to.
I'll make a post on it.
No, you'll tell them to buy it, and because you're wearing it,
Yep.
they'll buy it, right?
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
how
exactly
that works.
that. Yeah, 1-to-1. No problem.
Yeah.
I'll do that to
So-
everyone on the street. You'll make money.
Now, how many people am I going to annoy if I keep trying to give them this shirt?
All of them.
You can't just do that nonstop. I do it sometimes. I'm not really willing to sell out like that.
Yeah. And, to
It's
be
not
fair,
really worth it to
he's
me.
only
Is
been
it a
in...
passion of yours?
I like doing the tattoo stuff for my own sake. If other people enjoy it, that's cool. If I put up a post of a new tattoo that I got, it didn't go well, I'm going to post that anyway because that's how this started. It's
real.
That's what it was about. It's not if I make some money along the way, that's one thing, but that's going to have to be genuine.
Yeah.
Or else it's going to be cheapened.
Well, it could go into the same kind of mentality of doing something different. It's like he sells guitars. Well, why don't you just sell heroin? That's way better profit margin.
It really is like that.
Yeah.
Like
'Cause
just
it's selling.
win at any cost.
You're selling things, man. That's no problem.
Just fucking win, man.
Yeah,
What's
Jesus.
the fucking problem?
Well, you're just leaving money on the table.
And this is like, I want to get him on the podcast again. And I told him, well, let's talk about this on the podcast. And but
Now
he
I
just
kind of
keeps-
feel like I've like by my last conversation with him, I kind of feel like I may have steered him into some bad thinking. Because that wasn't like my intention.
That's the best when you hear something someone's saying and you're like, shit.
Well,
I think I had something to do with this crap.
Well, like I can
Damn
see
it.
how he would have connected the dots to where he's gotten, but
Yeah.
mine was from a place of like, not scarcity. So
Mm-hmm.
like I was telling him to look at these things from a place of like,
Unlimited
if you
possibility.
have what you want, like if you think that you have the picture, and I'm going to be happy when you have that. So what does your life look like if you have that? Is what I was trying to ask as a question.
Yeah.
So like if you think that there's this mythical answer to your feeling complete, say you have that, then what does
does
your
it
life
look
look
like?
like? Because like if you understand what it's like past that point, you can think towards that point. But if you're only thinking, oh, more money is going to answer my question, okay, then continue
man.
on the thought process
Money will
after
come.
that. Yeah, and not to mention,
I am doing better financially than I've ever been doing.
Yeah.
And we went through lockdowns, right? I know I worked for the last few, but like, I don't know if I would have had the hustle if I wasn't doing what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
it
that's
would have
what
been
I was trying to
easier for me
say.
to give up.
That's what I was trying to say to him. Is just like you need to find the thing that makes you happy and try and profit from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because like the money thing is just to facilitate the thing that you're doing. Like you will be happy doing that because there's contentment in the doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like I know when you come on here and you're gonna push our social media through the roof. It's because you actually find enjoyment in it.
Yeah, I do.
Like, for me, it's a fucking struggle.
It's gamified for me.
Yeah,
All
but
of it is.
for me, I find it insane. Like the whole idea of it feels laborious, whereas
No.
like for you, it feels like you're playing a game.
That's the easiest part of the whole equation for me. And
Yeah.
I already have so many ideas that it's just going to be more or less just like, okay, I just need to start doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I already know so many things I want to do with it that I've been doing it in my head for a long time. It's the same thing when I first did ordering at work, like all the food ordering. I'd been doing the order in my head for years.
Yep.
And I've been mocking people who did it poorly forever. Like openly mocking. And it was like as soon as I got a hold of it, it was easy. I just needed to learn the machinery, and then it was like, oh well, I've been doing it anyway in my head. Because this is how I'll be at home on the couch. I can tell what's in that kitchen because I just have such a good memory for numbers and details and shit like that. So for me, it's all like gamified. I like to win and statistics. Like I'm very statistics motivated.
Yep.
But if that will eventually make money, right? Like doing that will lead you to money. Doing things that you find enjoyable will lead you to money.
Yeah.
Genuine inspiration will lead you to money.
Yep.
When you start diluting it with hawking T-shirts and junk, and now I'm showing off creams and shit and
Now you're
drinks
selling
and,
your soul.
Yeah, you're right.
And you're only going to be happy selling your soul if you're making an arm and a leg of money, which
Even then,
isn't
it
the
has to be
goal.
to a point, right? Like
Exactly.
you won't want to do that forever.
Meanwhile, above a certain threshold, everyone's going to have the same amount of happiness anyway. Everyone thinks like, oh, if I get over here, I'll be 5 times happier than here. Well, no. Once you've met your basic needs and demands, there's only a certain amount that money's actually going to make you happier.
Exactly.
Like, as a
That's what I tried to
psychological
explain to him.
concept.
I was like, look, I get tattooed. I could get tattooed every week. I can afford to get tattooed every week right now. I can come in here once a week and get tattooed and take care of everything else in my life and still have a little bit of money left over for things coming up that I wasn't expecting, or if we want to go out to eat or something. What better do I need? Like what
exactly?
What the hell else do I want? I
Well,
don't
it's
want a
not
Lamborghini.
It's not like, again, that's for people that don't have or have felt the constraint. They think that other things happen when you reach said mark.
Yeah.
Right? Like that there's this mythology past a point of certain thing. Like you can get more stuff, sure, but it's the same reason that those people, when they get more money, they win the lottery, they blow it all.
Yeah.
Or they end up committing suicide because it doesn't help any of the feeling part.
So in New Brunswick, I was working on this house one time, and this dude pulls in, and it's a new subdivision area, and this big truck pulls in up the road a little bit, and the guy I'm working with says, "Yeah, that dude up there, he won $30 million in the lottery," and he's building that house for his daughter, this. And I look at him, and he doesn't look any fucking happier.
No.
Now he doesn't go to work. He just manages this wealth that just kind of fell onto him.
Yep.
You don't feel like you deserved it.
Unearned wealth is horrible.
You're just wildly financially rich now. That's very different from being successful. And now, like, he's not going to move away to somewhere exotic and cool. His family's all here. He's not going to move them all with him. So he's just going to kind of hang out.
Yeah, whittle away at the money.
In this kind of bullshit city in New Brunswick and fuck around. Like I
That
don't,
doesn't sound in any way fulfilling.
no, that doesn't
sounds
sound
horrible.
good to me at all. I'm sure he's got the best snowmobile and the coolest garage and.
He's got the coolest toys.
And like I'm jealous of having that free time, but I wouldn't want that free time filled with that kind of oversaturation of unearned financial wealth.
It's like
Like it's a weird time.
quote, time is a drug. If you take too much of it, it'll kill you. Right?
Yeah.
If you got too much time on your hands, it's not a good thing.
Well, that said, I've been in too much of a push with my work-life balance. Like I play hard and I work hard. I've been doing that for too long. So I'm due for a time in my life where I have extra amounts of time. I'm due for that in my life.
Yes.
I am too.
But-
I'm definitely
saying
there.
that.
Yeah, but imagine that was the outlook for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah, no, it's crazy.
You can do that for a time, right?
Oh,
and there's
even-
a use for it.
I could do
too.
it for 5 years,
Yeah.
I bet. But I can't do it for 5 years knowing that going to continue not needing to do shit.
Well, it
What-
also depends as to what you need for progression, right? Like, you've exceeded that marker of, like, happiness and money. Like, just you have.
Yeah.
And then everything else is going to be kind of on top. So the question is, when you get there, things that make you happy, progress does make you happy, but no longer does it have to be focused on capital.
Exactly. So and I've given this out before. If I had $30 million in the bank, for example, I would just get into philanthropy. The average yearly investing income from a $30 million portfolio, should be somewhere along the lines of like $700,000 a year, which I think would be very sufficient to create some really cool philanthropy lines to work in. And that's where you'd spend a lot of your time, your hobbies, interests, friends, family, and philanthropy.
See, that was my big problem with my conversation with Dave too, is like I was thinking always, like when he was talking, like I was always 2 steps down the road going, yeah, you get that, then what? Then what? What is the fucking goal? Because I told him, I said, you know, I'm pretty happy with how things are going, and they're getting better all the time. Like things are getting, nothing is getting worse. Like things are kind of getting better for me. So why do I need to push so hard? And he goes, Jeremy, I got to tell you, you know, that can all change. Like he was trying to warn me about his
Live in
divorce
fear
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, I've already gone through those losses.
Yeah, you have.
Like I've already lost people I thought I couldn't live without, and then found life on the other side.
Well, this is part of the issue of him not being able to see you as you.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's seeing you in relation to him.
Yeah, like I'm going to learn from his wisdom because he's older
That's the brother
than me.
thing, man.
This is what I said. It's really hard to take that out of the equation, and for him to view, because he's trivializing my experiences.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
Which
Because
is
they're not his.
right. Fair enough. Like I can appreciate what's happening, even in the moment. I'm like, he's not understanding that these things were even on the same scale of magnitude. Like for him, it won't be the same because he was married to his partner and it was for longer and he's older and all these different things. So anything that I went through can't be similar.
Her dying? Like, come on,
Any of
man.
it.
That's
Any of it.
huge.
My partner, one of my son's mother dying.
Yeah.
And the woman I was with twice that left me, and
Yeah.
I basically had to relearn life after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been through a
Yeah,
lot
you've been
of
through
loss.
some shit, man.
Like both of our fathers are dead.
But this is also where it's difficult for someone who's older to understand that someone who's younger can have gone through, can have experienced certain life-changing things previous to them.
Yeah.
So it's like my brother and I, you know, I've had a lot more stuff happen to me, like a lot more compared to what he's had.
That's-
And like I am in my tonality, I am far older than he is.
I have that with my younger brother. He's moving back in with me. I've always looked at him like a son.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have. He's only a year younger than me.
Yeah.
But our relationship is more like father and son. And even my mother admits this. Like I've basically raised him. And so now he's coming home, right? Because he lived with me for 10 years. He moved out with a girl. He just got laid off. They just split up. His life is kind of
Fallen.
yeah, and now he's coming home.
Yeah.
Right? And he's not leaving home again until it looks good. Like until he's on to something good, he's staying. That's the deal. He's not going to buy a trailer. Right? Seriously, it sounds harsh, but he's not going to buy a trailer. I don't know if you catch that.
No.
But Dave was
I
in a
know.
hurry to leave my mom's house, and he bought a trailer. Right? He couldn't wait to get out of there and get his freedom back, and he ends up with more problems because of that panic. Right? That's not going to happen here, and I'm going to see to it because I'm going to be responsible. Because again, I see my little brother as more of a son. Right? So, yeah, you can have wildly different amounts of life in a certain amount of years.
Yep.
Like Scott has worked way more jobs than I will ever work in my entire life.
Yep.
This is just one really, really tangible example. Is like you can fill those years with a lot of different shit. You can eat Cheetos on a couch for 30 years.
Yeah, you can.
Or you can have several near-death experiences in 30 years, right? And that's going to make for a different human being.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, far different.
so
But I mean, like I would just say, like I think Dave is kind of like starting, or like has been starting the last little while. I think he's been kind of numb to some of the.
I'm going to tell him to listen to this
changing.
episode. It's going to be great.
Yeah, go for it. I've told him
I'm
this.
quite okay with him listening to
Yeah,
this.
I've.
I want him
everything-
on again.
Yeah.
Like, I want to crack this open again.
Yeah, like everything I've said to him.
Yeah.
So it's like, but yeah, no, I think he's like in the process of like transforming or something like that. Because I
For
think
sure.
like, I think when that thing happened, he kind of shut off, and like, you know, you have to go through your own mourning process to get to the other side of it. And I think like I'm hopeful that he keeps getting pushed towards a good direction.
It's one of the things that my ex that I was with twice told me the second time we were together. She was way more open than she was the first time I was with her. And it pissed me off because now I was really closed.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Super jaded. And she was like, I've been where you are. Now I'm past that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you condescending bitch.
How
Because now
dare you.
you're acting like you know better than me and you're up here. And the truth of it is that she was right.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to hear it. Right? I didn't want to hear that this person might know better than me about that you can come back from that.
Yeah.
Humility is hard.
Well, what happens is you never go back to being as open as you were necessarily. It's just kind of like you centralized. Now you have the jaded part of you, but you're open to the positive again too.
I don't know, man. I'm way more open than I've ever
Yeah,
been.
psychedelics.
Like a stupid amount. It's obnoxious from time to time.
I'm kind of hoping that a different lifestyle might facilitate that for me a little more. But like I told you,
Well, episode
weeks
100
ago
will
here-
help too.
Well, definitely a little bit. What I told you a couple weeks ago here, when someone gives you a compliment around here, they mean it.
Yeah.
Where I work, you're scanning for the sarcasm or the slight,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like this person is actually attacking you,
Yeah.
or they don't want to be saying this. They just know they should because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like you don't take compliments at face value where I work. If someone says something nice about something I do, I'm like, I let it roll off me. I don't even let it enter me.
So like this is like give you an example of something that's I got a request to book in for me, and that's like the first booking request I've seen. So for me, I was really excited, and I sent a screenshot of it to Lee, and he was like genuinely excited for me. He's like, "Fuck yeah, boy!" And it's like because I know that he is actually excited
Yeah.
for me.
That's
That's our reality.
that is a weird thing for me to grasp.
Yeah.
I want to add one more cherry on top of this exact concept, is that it's opposite in tattooing. In tattooing, you've got to not take compliments at face value, but for the opposite reason as the sarcasm and the backhanded shit. In tattooing, you have to take the compliments and let them roll off your back
Or else
because
you'll
they'll fuck up your ego.
Yeah.
They'll blow up your ego.
They'll fuck up your inner workings and the way you tattoo.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we
Seen
all
it.
have.
And like to be fair, I've said this to, I think I've only really said it to Allie when she started. I can't remember if I've said it to anybody else, but you are high when you are getting a tattoo. You are
Yeah.
high off your tits.
But when I first started
Sure.
here, you told me the same
It's
story.
a fucking
I
drug,
think
man.
Yeah, because like it's one of those things I would watch people get compliments and then take them and go like, yeah, what this client is telling me is real, and I'm like,
he's
no,
got all these
they're a
hopped
drug
up
addict.
on
They're
endorphins.
on drugs
You're
right
like,
now.
I killed it on that really shitty tattoo I
Yeah,
just did.
yeah, they
Man
love
is
it.
No,
on,
hold
high
on.
on adrenaline right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. I don't have to get any better, and it's like, no, you got to temper that because they think it's amazing because they have the endorphin rush going on, and they've just bonded over this
where
painful experience.
Rick is something of a Zen master
Yeah.
in his own way because nothing gets through there.
Well, he doesn't care if anyone says anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It has no
Rick
bearing on
gives a fuck
anything.
about what Rick gives a fuck about.
Well,
That's
like
it.
so.
Hey Rick, this is bullshit.
I tend to
Hey, Rick, this is great.
comment on the things. I tend to comment on the things of his pieces that I know he values.
The little things.
Yeah. So like the big back piece with the wings and shit. The top portion of the wing, I could tell that he was like stoked on it, just how he executed it. And I was just like, man, that section there is dope. He's like, yeah, right. I was really doing a lot. And I could see that it was just like this thing
Yeah.
that nobody's going
Where
to care
most
about.
people would come over and go, "Wow, that's really
Yeah,
cool
look at
feet.
that crazy back piece.
Yeah.
It's like, no. All he cares about is the fact that there's like a real subtlety to the way that wing flows. And it's
So
just like,
like a working relationship with Rick for me has been a long time of like there are certain things that I know he wants to do that I don't really care about. That they're just like today is I'm pretty sure just going to be for him.
oh yeah.
Like no part of what's going to happen here today is anything that I'm that interested in.
What is it?
Well, he wants to do the black in the eye again. Like the
Why?
He wants it to be with the Panthera. 'Cause
Doesn't he have it with the Panthera?
It's got the dynamic right now.
You mean inside the eye?
Yeah, like the pattern.
Oh, the pattern.
And that's going to take us 3.5 hours because it did the first time.
Yep.
It's going to be the same slog again.
Is
Yep.
it supposed to be like a 100-faceted eye in the
Yep.
end? Okay, cool.
No, I understand what he's going for.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He wants to do the silver in there with white again, too. But I'm not saying we should never do that. I'm just saying it wouldn't be on the top of my list. Like we would get to that in 6 months because
I wonder what he's going to do, though. I wonder if he's going to just do the edging to show the fact that they're actually 3D eyes.
Well, I'd almost take like a 5 bug pin or something,
Yeah.
and just line inside.
Yeah, that's
the
exactly what I'm thinking.
Where the dynamic black is, you just go to the center of the dynamic black and add a little bit.
Well,
of
the pattern
Yeah.
is very
to bring
visible
those
as
lower.
it is.
Yeah.
Exactly, the pattern's so visible. You're just going to bring the center of the lows lower.
Lower, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, this
I'm
is-
interested to see if he's going to do that.
This is
Yeah,
one of
he
those
may.
things.
Yeah.
This is one
Crazy.
of those like little things that Rick is obsessing over.
Yeah.
And it was
So
the
you
same
may as well
thing.
let him.
Yeah, exactly.
after
We're
it.
gonna do it eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'll do, and it was the same thing with the center of the eye. And there's been a lot of other ones that no one else would probably know about unless I pointed it out.
Yeah.
But where this is being done today because Rick really
Wants to.
needs, yeah, like this is his thing. Because like we would do other things today instead if it was up to me. Like there are things that I feel like would make a bigger difference right now.
Yeah.
Like higher priority,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if we shaded in my stomach right now, it would pop all the tentacles because there's like 3 tentacles in here that are all just kind of like, especially since we did the shading here and here.
Yep.
They're like getting washed out now.
Yep.
They weren't before all that shading went in, but now with that dark black there, it's like, wow, this looks really, really gray next to that.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were to do that, I feel like that's an instant gain.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not going to make him happy the way doing this is.
No.
Because he looks at things differently.
Yes.
Right? And I feel like that's why I like working with him, too, is because he's so detail-oriented that
Mm-hmm.
he's going to bring out the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
It's just, it may not be in the order that the client wants.
Well,
Yeah.
and like he and I were talking about this, he's been tattooing 17 years now.
Yeah.
So, like, when you've done something for 17 years, to be able to be graced with new things is pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like, if you've done something for 17 years, it's kind of like the same. You end up getting through the same slog a bunch.
Yeah.
So, to have something that is actually new is probably, like, quite invigorating.
I'm
And
sure.
it's refreshing as someone that wants to take his time and go slow and work on the details. It's probably super refreshing to have someone who wants to take their time and work on the details and really set it
I'm
in
as
there.
into it as he is.
Yeah.
It's just our priorities they're usually pretty close. Days like today,
Yeah.
I could care a lot less about, but
Yeah.
we're gonna do it because it would be something that I would have him do eventually anyway. It just wouldn't be today normal. Like it wouldn't be.
Conversely, if we end up doing a sleeve together in the end, if we get through design phase and end up going to do a sleeve together, I'm gonna have to intentionally change my mindset a little bit because I am we're gonna slap out this
Yeah,
whole
you'll
piece
wanna-
today,
you'll
and
wanna
next time
slow
we're doing
down.
this whole piece.
Because
When
like
we work
I
together-
won't be in a hurry to get to the end
so
of it.
so if we work together, it's more a matter of what am I going to do that is going to bring those details to the forefront? What am I going to do that's going to
Yeah.
make this Jeremy style that fits your path and your preferred directions?
It'd have to be more of like the, what do you want to call it? Like the priority would have to be on the creative and the unexplored, and that's like all slow stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Those are those like because like I know you prioritize efficiency, which like efficiency is refinement of application or like
That's right.
those types of
That's
things. So it's like you get to a place of executing the same thing over and over and over again and slowly shaving off seconds, that type of thing. But when you're in a territory of never having done something, all of a sudden that efficiency goes out the window.
That's
and it's
right.
like you have to get into the
Feel it
territory.
out.
Yeah. You have
Yep.
it becomes like emotional almost.
And the efficiency going out the window, in this case, me working with Jer, for example, that would actually be beneficial because pushing it outside of my normal routines will make me slow down and give each portion of it the respect it deserves. And having that time means I'm not going to rush through new stuff. I'm gonna build cool new stuff.
Yeah, no, that's anything I do these days is just it's almost like dancing with an old friend or something where you both know the dance. Not that friend being tattooing in general. I don't even know if it matters who's on the other end of that.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just about getting to do that still. So I don't know that I'm ever going to be in a hurry to get to the end of any project anymore because it's like, but I'm still going to want to do this. So I may as well take my time because I'm gonna need something to work on.
Yeah, of course.
Like if your hobby is gardening, your goal isn't to garden
Yeah,
as
win
fast
the
as you
garden.
can. Yeah, it's not about gardening as fast as you can.
Yeah.
It's about growing a new type of flower each year. It's about getting those tulip bulbs so well planted in the ground that next spring they come up at the perfect time, and all of them live and they're perfectly spaced. And that shrub over there grows just the right amount each year that you trim it into this duck or whatever.
That's
right?
like practice, right? Like when you look at like jujitsu or yoga or gardening, I think is a good one. The practice of something. It's just like, there is no target. And I think like most art is that way. You know what I mean? There's no set target. That art is the art. The process is the process. You are doing this as a practice, and you are constantly refining with no end goal in sight. You know what I mean? You're constantly narrowing, or I don't know how would you even say that? Just you're
Narrowing in on a target.
but there's no target.
There's no target. Yeah.
It's weird.
So like I think it puts me in direct contrast with most of the tattoo world.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this
Yeah.
still is hard for some people because they want that sleeve done.
Oh, dude,
They
everything
don't wanna
you
have
post
to-
has to be finished.
They don't want it to be. They don't want it to have to keep
So,
going.
Yeah.
funny story. Just yesterday, I was getting tattooed at a different shop.
Yeah.
And my tattoo artist openly says, the guy's got to be done eventually, right? Like, there's got to be a finish point eventually.
See?
And I was like,
But
And I
Andrew's
didn't go
that
in-
minded.
I didn't-
Andrew's that same mind where he's like he's a start to finish guy.
Yeah.
He's like he has to have the.
and I didn't say much. I said maybe a couple lines of, yeah, you know what? I don't think there's a finishing line. And I just moved on with the
Well,
topic.
they'll pronounce
keep
me
on
dead
moving.
at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
When he's 6 feet deep, I guess they might be tattooing over his grave. I guess I
Yeah.
don't know.
But there's a
We'll
guy.
put your ashes in ink, and then you can be living on in tattoos forever.
That's right. That's right. We'll
The
all get a piece
ephemeral,
of Jer tattoo
the
on us.
ephemeral tattoo ink line.
Yeah, I just don't see it. Like I don't see.
$200 a bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
We sell Jer's ink
Bits
in
of
it.
Jeremy in there.
Now that's merchandising.
That's
that's
see?
that's a product
Yeah,
I
when
can
you
hawk.
finally die, we'll be able to make some real money.
Just fucking like Billy Mays just shouting at the camera.
yeah.
Remy here selling products. You
that's-
gotta buy this.
These are real bits
This
of
is
me
the-
in here.
The darkest black ink you're ever gonna find.
Now, that's how the Black Alien Project can really make his money. Every time he gets a limb cut off,
Yeah,
he'll
yeah, yeah,
Get
just
it
sell 'em.
cremated and turn it into ashes.
Yeah.
And put it into ink.
What's that on your wall? Oh, that's the Black Alien Project's arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth a lot. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be worth more one day.
Man, that dude's gonna get into robotic prosthetics soon, and I am stoked.
Seems like
That's like the inevitable course.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be
He's gonna
wild.
get 6 arms or some shit.
It's interesting, like just the like I even just did a short. It was off of a TikTok I did where it was just my thoughts on the Black Alien Project. Very simple, and just even the comments that came out in regards to talking about him. It's like, man, people are really not getting it. Like they're not getting it at all, and I think that's exactly why he's blowing up.
Yeah, it's so ununderstandable.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I love about it is that there's no way you're gonna understand it. You just have to accept it.
Dude, I've said it numerous times to you. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I get a portion, but now it's officially at a place where I don't get it.
What
It's
was it? The one
impeding
that you lost was when he cut off his
fingers. Yeah,
Yeah. it
You
was-
you lose so much grip strength if you don't have a pinky.
I know it. He's in
and to
great shape.
choose
How is
that,
he going to work out?
He's not. That's the thing.
That's the
well,
thing I
okay,
was
never mind.
wondering.
You can do things to do
gonna
that.
use-
Yes.
He's going to do a lot of 2-bar exercises.
Well, and there's like
right?
wrist grips and shit
His,
you can do.
his
and-
dumbbell game is mostly going to go out the window.
Yeah.
As far as high weight dumbbell.
That's my
activity.
only thing I was thinking was like, the dude's in great shape.
Yeah.
How does he keep that up?
I mean,
Or does he care?
Steroids.
I mean, sure. I'm sure he'll care to
That'll
keep
do.
it up.
just implants, I guess. But either way, it's one of those like that was a there's like practical choices of how the body functions to go anti that. It all of a sudden loses its sense to me.
There's a
But
difference between
it's just really impeding your life.
what
at
they
some
used
point.
to what they used to
Yeah.
say was body modification versus body mutilation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And clearly he values the impact that those changes will have greater than any hobbies or interests or work activities he has that uses those advantages.
Well, and that's the thing. It's a personal freedom thing,
Yeah.
right? You got to let him do what he's going to do.
yeah, big
So.
time.